Hi guys, Luke from Lucas Cars. Today back to have a look at the 350. So we had a bit of an incident at the Three Sisters last time. I kind of did a bit of a sketchy video with that one, if you've seen it, in terms of just how it ended and stuff, because I didn't really do like an outro or anything. It's kind of a bit like sad at the end of the day, damaged the car. It's part of the game, but I was kind of like, I just want to load the car up and go home sort of thing. Not as in like a strop, just so I'm not putting the wrong impression across, but I was just kind of like, I didn't want to talk about it, because I was like, oh, I've let myself down, but it's all good. We're here to have a look today anyway. This is the first time properly looking over it. We rolled the car in last weekend. It's now like middle of the week. I'll show you the wheel first, because the wheel was the main thing I was sad about, to be fair, because I spent like an amount of money on the wheels and I was like, I really like these wheels, I'm going to get some nice wheels, and I've now ruined it. Not the worst thing in the world, because they're not actually super expensive for what wheels are. Like if these were work wheels of any sort, they'd be not good. I don't know if they'd break like that. I don't know if it's because it's strong, but it was quite a heavy hit, which I'll insert a clip of this damage now. Wow, such YouTuber, man. But yeah, obviously you can tell that there's a chunk missing. Don't know where that went. Probably made someone's drifting not very good if that was on the track still. And then obviously lovely curb rash all the way around from obviously the incident. But that's the least of the worries, to be fair. Wheels are wheels can be replaced. Car parts can, but obviously a bit more work is required. This is the bit that everyone at the track seemed to go, oh my god, I can't believe you've done that, because obviously I think it's semi-substantial of the damage. So quick investigation from what this is also from the other day, and also as I'm looking now. So the hub's obviously broken, as you can tell. Go from there. I believe the drive shaft's sound. I've not looked yet or took it off, but to me it looks like the boot's just been obliterated. I don't know how that happens, but it's happened. Maybe because it's overextended and just ripped the rubber, would be my guess. That's fine, it's just because it's on full extension and the standard shock, so the spring's not sat where it's meant to sit. That's obviously been worn in from the wheel. Hitting that, the wheel's wobbled out and wobbled back in. I believe that is bent, which is the, I can't think what it's called, it's like one of the control arms. I believe it deals with toe a little bit. You know, you can get adjustable ones of them, or you can just get the one that's not adjustable. The brakes seem sound from a quick inspection, which is good, but I know how to sort them anyway in the event that they were damaged, which is good. And then also we've got the adjustable camber arm at the bottom, which is a bit of a big sad, because that's snapped. I'm hoping that I can get a replacement thread, because it's snapped probably in the best place possible, which is in the middle where it is just a threaded bar. So I'm hoping that that's what I can do to fix that, but I'm not too sure. There's a slight bit on the bottom of there, but that's minor, that doesn't really do anything. It does, but it's not really affected that. Bar that, that's possibly it. I don't want to jinx myself, because there could be more, because obviously it's a substantial hit. But I'm going to take bits off and then just kind of look over it and see how it is, I suppose. Could be filmed all today, might be over multiple days, depends how tricky it is to get things off, because this car is substantially old. It's an 03, so a lot of this is all original parts, so could be crusty, but you're along for the ride in the process of broken to fixed, so enjoy. So this is day one done on the disassembly process. I'm not necessarily filmed really what I've been doing, because as you can imagine, with it being an old car, everything's rusty, everything's very difficult to get off, but I will show you where we're at. We're very close to getting most of it off, to be fair. The last bit that I was on was disconnecting the brake or handbrake line, which I've not done before. Here's the new one, for example, so you know what it is. So this yellow bit sits in like a metal bit like that, and then this bit sits in a weird bracket, which I'm currently struggling to get out of. It looks like you sort of push it to an angle and pop it out, but it isn't just popping out, so it kind of needs some sort of pressure on it. It's very awkward because this is on the underside of the car in the middle, and then it's like the drive shaft that runs along next to it, so it's like very tight space. Anywho, we'll show you where we're at with the other bits. My hands are extremely dirty, so I'm going to molest my camera slightly. As you can see, it looks like an absolute mess currently because it is. So there's the strut out with one of the top arms. Wasn't that bad to do, either of them. They were pretty sound. The drop link was dog shit. I had to cut that in half, as you'd expect. They're never good on old cars. So I tried, failed. The hole for the Allen key bit was non-existent, so I just had to cut it. Not too bad because I'm buying new drop links. On this section, so you've got the bit where the torque tension arm, I don't know what you want to call it, this arm here, we had to undo that one. Not super bad, just another one that was really tight again. This one was sound, I've undone them before, the ones that go onto the lower control arm. The ones for the brake caliper themselves were really hard to do. There's two of them, which for the back of there, they were really tight. That was a brake bar plus spanner, wombo combo. You'd have probably enjoyed watching me do that with my funky techniques. Pretty much everything is disconnected, like I said. That's obviously still floating down here because it's still got the brake line connected, which runs under the car. There's a really weird bracket that sits like just behind here that line goes onto, which like engulfs the thing, and it's just got like an 8mm thread sticking out with a nut on it, but it's very hard to undo because there's the rust and crust on it, so I've just sprayed it. I'll come back to it and hopefully it'll be a little bit easier to undo. The bit under the car I'm not going to try and show you because it's in there, but the drive shaft as well was really tricky to pop out on this side. The other side was not too bad, but this one took a little bit more work to get it out. You can also see a bit more damage as well with that now being off, which it looks great. Drive shaft looks sound. I get a new one of these ordered. Don't know how you get that. Actually, to be fair, look at that, surely the boot just slides over. Yeah. You would think. Actually, nah, I wouldn't know, would it? Because its small end's there. How would you slide the small end over that?
You have to pop the other end off.
Nah, because it doesn't look like that. Because the other end's the same as like this, where it's a solid thing to that. So I'm not really sure how they work. And this rubber doesn't have a
slit.
I have to like Google how they work, because I'm very confused on how you actually get a rubber on there. And then obviously they have these weird band clamps, but that's where we're at. Steady progress, I would say. I've not been injured yet, just very dirty. I tried to wear gloves but they kept ripping, so we gave up with them. Spin the lens around so you can see me for the finale of today's little clip. Yeah, so that's it. I'm not going to ramble any more stuff because it'll be irrelevant information, but hopefully it's been... I've not even showed anything of what I've done, to be fair, in terms of how I've undone anything, but I didn't see the need to, because we all know how to undo things. Maybe I'll get some clips of putting the bits on, I don't know, but that's the new part as well, which is obviously a non-new part but second hand, but you get the gist. Next clip and you'll see the next day of doing whatever we're doing. Hello, so you join us back. This is a new day since the last time we filmed some clips. I've had a couple of days out of just kind of not really doing anything in the car, just to kind of make sure I'm fresh and ready to tackle it as such. So just to recap basically where we're at. Obviously I don't know what I last filmed, so I don't know how I shot these bits together. But obviously that's the new section we bought off eBay. It's a reconditioned parts, obviously not brand new, but the car's old anyway, so this is sound. This is where we're at with the hub and stuff, just so you can see in daylight and stuff, because last time it might have been in dodgy lighting, I'm not really sure. Obviously that's where it snapped. I have since got a new boot of that as well, which I've watched how to do that, which isn't a priority to do yet. The main thing is undoing the brake line, or cable, whatever you want to call it, handbrake one that is. But that shoots off and goes round. I just need to undo one of the clips for that, which is under there. And then, I don't think you actually need to touch anything in the car, it's just a bit that's underneath the car. It's a weird bracket sort of thing, which I might get up on my phone and show you in a second or something of just what that is. But I was having a little bit of difficulty trying to unconnect that last time. So that'll be, today's goal is just kind of get that off. I'm not too bothered about putting anything else really on yet, because I'm not really in a rush to get the car ready. I just want to make sure I understand what's going on and what is the situation with the car, make sure everything is sound before going forward with it. So yeah, that's just kind of where I've got some food cooking up today in the lovely microwave. But we're not going to do food review stuff, but you can see what we've got if you're interested. But we'll crack on with it in a second once we've had some foodage. Just wanted to add a quick clip that the exhaust's now off as well, which you would have seen in the last, obviously the driving video if we had issues with that. Just thought I'd bring that off now because I need to sort it, because broke there, which you couldn't see that in the video. I didn't really do any clips of the crack with that, just to being fixed and put a comment on it. We'd done like a sort of a standard clamp thing round to kind of somewhat hold it together, which it worked enough to get through the day. But that's just there, which will be dealt with at a further point, not today or in this video, but yeah, it's interesting to say the least. Little update, so this is now out. I'm actually having a big issue with getting this end part out, so that goes up to a weird bracket, which I'd love to film for you, but it's like way in there in the car. It's such a basic little thing, it's a bit like a bike sort of brake thing, but I think it's just because it's really old and it's got like shit on it and stuff, so it just didn't want to come out. I ended up doing all the brackets and just bringing that as far forward as I could, and then I was able to give it leverage and pop it out. I feel like the new one's going to be very tricky to get in because that was hard to get out, but we'll see at the time. Before I do any of that though, I do want to address the drive shaft, which I did some Googling. You can actually, well, I know you can replace the boots, but I was confused on how a boot slides over that, because obviously that's bigger than what the hole is for the boot, etc. But you can actually disconnect this end bit, and then you can then put a new boot on and re-grease it. So that's what I'll be doing now, which I don't know what to do, if I'm honest with you. So I'm going to watch some video things and stuff. I think you hit this or some shit and it disconnects it, because I think it's just a spline that's inside of there. So I'm going to try that, and then I'll kind of tell you how I've done it after I've done it, or mid-process or something like that, just so you can kind of see what the crack is, because it's something new that I've not done before. Update of where we are. You can't really see anything, but the reason I'm pointing there is just because that's ish where the area is where the brake lines run to. So problems that have occurred, obviously last time I spoke on camera we were talking about this bit, which I've since done. Absolute nightmare. Probably isn't that bad if you have the correct tools and knowledge, which I had neither. So I know there's a way of getting this end bit off. I saw some forums where they said you can put it in a vise and you can knock it out. I do not have a vise. I have a very thin table which is not vice worthy, so that was not an option. Then you can also get these spreader tools, which you can spread the rubber, snip it on. I also don't have one of those, so I had to very much struggle getting it on, which I've done it now. That's one of the clips that was supplied. The other clip is a non-standing clip because they're shit, so I decided to go with a different one. Besides that, it came with grease, so I just greased it all up and stuff, just kind of how I think it should be done. I assume that'll be a sound now. The brake line wasn't awful to get on because I just had all the slack on it. It is sat slightly differently underneath the car, like slightly like, if that's how straight it'd be, it's like to one side slightly, which I don't know why. Obviously my guess would be because obviously brake lines wear, obviously I don't know what age this 350 is from, but obviously there might be at different points, so I'm not sure how that's going to work, but I won't be able to try how that's affecting the car until I actually get to use the car and see if the handbrake's working correctly or not, obviously. But now I'll just be put the disc back on. I'm not going to put the drive shaft back into the hub and mount that up yet, because I need to grind the other drop mount off, drop link. I don't have any in them yet, which I need to order this week. And then we can start mounting stuff up once I've done that, I believe, because I don't know how easy they are to get on once everything's on. I'm not too sure. Shouldn't be too bad, but then obviously the camera on as well, which I haven't got that far yet. I'll do that, I think, at the end, because I don't see that too much of a major problem in terms of installing once everything's on. It's just more of just the understanding of if I can get a replacement for that, or if I've got to buy another pair. So that's just where we're at, just so you can visualise all that. Hi guys, so I'm going to leave today's video there. I haven't done a massive amount of progress. I'm probably not filmed too much of actually what I've been doing, mainly because a lot of stuff's old, so it's kind of just your standard, everything's a pain to get off, but it is what it is sort of thing. I didn't think it'd be too interesting watching me trying to struggle pull on spanners and that sort of thing, so I can kind of just show this is what it's like, this is the bits off it. We are in the process of obviously fixing bits, and I'm waiting for some more parts and stuff, so when they come in I'll do another little update video like this sort of thing, but I don't want it to be dragged out too long of sort of where it's at and stuff, so I'll do like a little one now of where it's at, and then finishing up with basically putting it back together, because only the hub's somewhat on, but some of the additional bits like the drop links, the strut, and then just kind of, yeah, that's kind of it really, and then just putting it back together, and the camera arm as well, which I've not sorted out yet. But yeah, not too far off, it shouldn't be horrific, and then just kind of seeing where everything sits once that's on. Hopefully it'll all be straight and stuff then, is the plan. But yeah, hopefully it's been somewhat interesting. I know it's not the most intense video after the last video being a drift day one. Now we've gone to mechanically stuff, but that's why I like to document the whole process. It's not just all fun and games. There is a background thing that goes on of actually having to repair the cars when you crash them and stuff. So hopefully it's been enjoyable. Until next time, next time guys, catch you later.